righty then, here we are. Time to go live for my weekly Wednesday chat about art, creativity, and all things surface design related. And I'm thrilled to have Kathleen Rogers with me today. Hello, Kathleen.
Hello, Ian.
So how are you today, Kathleen? It's wonderful to see you.
Oh, I'm terrific. Thanks for asking. It is sunny here in New England, and we've had a couple days of flurries on Easter weekend. So I'm just thrilled that the sun is out today.
Yeah, I saw that. And of course, we always have to remember that I'm blessed to live in California, so the weather's pretty much the same all the time unless it's raining, and which we always need. And so we're always grateful when it rains. But you guys on the Eastern Seaboard, you have all kinds of weather.
We have all kinds of weather to enjoy. We do.
So I'm super excited to be here. And we've got Jeanette and Valerie and Virginia, and we've also got Shirley from the UK and Annie Starkey. It's wonderful to see all of you here today with us. We very much appreciate you joining us live. And if you're watching the replay, you are very welcome here as well. So I am Anne LaFollette, and this is my channel, and I broadcast every Wednesday, come rain or shine, at noon Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays, unless I'm on an airplane, which is not very often. And what we've been doing for the last several weeks is having these fantastic student spotlights with members of my hashtag Anne's Universe who've come into my service design world and are totally flourishing by adding these new skills to their overall business. And we are going to talk all about tea and Kathleen Rogers and the beautiful work that she's doing. So
thank you, Anne.
I'm so excited to have you here, Kathleen. So talk a little bit about just, have you always been creative?
I have always been creative since a child. I was the kid that did coloring books and made doll houses and wove baskets and did some sewing. So I was always crafty. I would term it that.
Wonderful. And then one of the things that I thought you could also share with us is, didn't you do something with like boxes? Didn't you like have this, you like created, talk about like, you like, it sounded very elaborate.
I did. I was the tween that had her father bring home empty cardboard boxes whenever he saw him at work. So I would create these elaborate doll houses out of these cardboard boxes for my dolls, using paint chip samples and all scraps and all kinds of things.
I love it. I totally love it. And look, we get this cute comment from Wendy Duke saying that we look like twins because look, we didn't talk in advance, but we both have a little bit of red on.
And we did great, didn't we?
We did very, very well indeed. It's fantastic. I love it. So thank you, Wendy, for mentioning that. So you did lots of fun, creative things, all kinds of creative things, including turning boxes into beautiful like homes. And you then got a degree in interior design, right?
Right. That led me to I was very fortunate to have a great home ec teacher back when home ec was a thing in high school. And then I went off to college to do some interior design, architectural work, and I loved it. But I never thought of myself as an artist.
Yeah, I
funny?
think that's something that many of us who were very creative. It's the word artist kind of means Jackson Pollock or Van Gogh or right, you name it, somebody super famous, and yet we are very, very creative. I like to now refer to myself as an artist with a little a.
That's a great way to think of it. Yes.
Just because I'm trying to view myself more as I am. I mean, I am. We are creative and artistic, but we don't give ourselves that big fancy title.
Right.
So now, how did you discover surface design?
I discovered surface design as I was walking the aisles at huge trade shows to, buy inventory for Set to a T when we had a catalog and a retail shop. And so I was very aware of design and patterns on clothing and home decor and, teacups and teapots and all of that. And that's really how it just came into my universe. Like I started paying attention at what people were doing, what was selling.
Yeah, and so you started this tea business quite a long time ago, and you've gone through several iterations with it, right? So
I have.
talk about those beginning stages when you actually had a store.
I fell in love with British afternoon tea almost 30 years ago. I hate to say that out loud. Almost 30 years ago. And I created a line of tea cozies,
Oh,
and
so
you know,
beautiful.
they're patented, this little loop and thing, and they're trademarked and the whole nine yards. Um, and so I created this little cottage industry, and I was sewing them myself. I was doing trunk shows up and down the East Coast to different tea rooms and having a grand old time. But I couldn't keep up with it. This was before desktop publishing and the internet. And I was taking photos of things and bringing them to the photo hut, and he would print out 400 copies of a photo so I could send them around to promote my business. But I, it outgrew me. I couldn't keep up with it. So
Right.
I put it away. I put it away for a little while. And then the kids all went to school, and I opened up the bins and said, okay, what is Set to a T going to look like now that I can do it full time again? And so I created a direct selling company, and we had consultants go out and do tea parties, and we would sell through a catalog. And I had a little cottage industry of ladies now sewing all the tea cozies and things. And I was blending tea, and we had, I loved every minute of it. But when I look back, I'm daunted by the amount of money I invested in inventory and technology and just to keep the business going. And so now that the business can be nimble, I just adore that. And then 2018 came, we had a big life change. I became an empty nester, and I decided, what did I want to do? And that was to travel. I haven't been to the UK yet. I needed to go to England. So I started, I learned how to watercolor sketch for my travel journal.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
that
That's so
was,
beautiful. Afternoon tea at the inn.
that was a trip to Williamsburg. And that led to the idea of creating the tea cozy line around different places I traveled. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, all right, what am I going to do now?
Right.
What am I going to do now? Well, what I did was I discovered Anne, and she allowed me to pivot my business again. And so I did Doodle for Dollars,
Oh,
and that
so pretty. Yeah, so that's your cute little Mother's
that
Day
little
card. Ah, so
yeah,
cute.
that little teapot and flower sprig was the first doodle I actually turned into a repeat pattern. And so now it's on the back of pillows
Ah,
with the topiary design on the front, and it's on, spiral
spiral
notebooks. It's on all
notebooks.
kinds of things. Yeah, yeah. So that's where Set to a T is now. But then, of course, Anne inspired me again. And during the pandemic, I was feeling isolated and lonely, and I wasn't meeting all my tea peeps in person. I wasn't going to tea rooms in person. So what can I do? Because I can't be the only tea lover to feel this. I
Right.
can't be the only one going through this. So I started Set to a Tea Society. And that is a group of tea lovers. We're all virtual. We do events. I use um, I use my artwork for journals, so they get printables within the society. So we do tea room reviews, and tea party guides and book clubs and all kinds of fun things. And we do virtual tea tastings. I think that's the biggest hit. Like, we get online, we all steep the tea together. I have a tea sommelier that's part of the group, and she comes on and she talks about different things. And then we have guests. We had a Nepal tea grower. We had a Scottish tea grower. It's so fun. So fun.
Oh my gosh, it sounds amazing. So we're going to break this down a little bit more, but first let's take Shalini's question, which is, what is your favorite British brand of tea. Hold on, can you even see that? British brand of tea. Often a hot debate in the UK.
It is a hot debate in the UK. I am trying to teach people to think about tea like they do wine. All right. So grocery store tea bags have its place in the world. I'm not a tea snob, but when you buy tea, I want you to buy better quality tea and think about the tea farmer in Nepal or China so that they can get paid fairly too.
Yes.
So my favorite British tea brand is called Rare Tea, and she travels the world to the actual tea gardens.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. That's amazing. And so, one of the things that I absolutely love about you, Kathleen, and you're such a great example of people who come into my hashtag Anne's universe, is this ability to continue to reinvent ourselves, right? So, my story is I was a corporate. I had a corporate job for 25 years, and then all of a sudden I got laid off. So I had to reinvent myself. And now I have this online business that I love. And you've reinvented yourself even more times as you transitioned from having a store to having your own sort of version of like there are other jewelry businesses where people will have their
Right.
people go in to
Yep.
do
I was the pampered chef of tea.
there you go. You were the pampered chef of tea, or
Right.
who was that, Mary Kay Cosmetics of tea,
Yeah.
where you had your
Yeah.
whole line of women going out and sharing
We
your tea with.
did. We did.
Unbelievable. Really fantastic. And then show us that beautiful original design of yours that's copyrighted and trademarked, that has the beautiful clasp on top of your tea cozy.
Sure.
How did you come up with that? Talk about that.
Well, so if you make a pot of tea and you drink it, it gets cold very quickly,
Yeah.
right? And so this cover goes over a teapot to keep the tea hot, but you'll notice that it scoots up because a tea cozy is made like an envelope,
Right.
but a teapot has a belly to it. And so the elastic loop and the pearl button, which is a trademark, I use the big pearl button. There we go. So that creates a belly. So when it sits on the teapot, it doesn't scoot up, and it's also two pieces. So once you have the liner, you can buy all different covers.
So smart. Oh my goodness.
And
So
so
smart.
it made it a consumable product. It made it a collectible product. So customers are always coming back to buy a new cover to match their teaware or their dining room or tablecloth or
Yeah, or
whatever.
for a holiday, for a particular
For a
holiday.
holiday, yes. Yeah. Mother's
Yeah.
Day, Christmas, they were always a big seller. Yeah. Yeah.
So as you evolve the business into this, what you have now, which is this amazing membership, just tell us a little bit about your sort of thought process and this week is like the big release of Stu McLaren's membership. It's called the Membership Experience. It used to be called Tribe, but he's rebranded it as the Membership Experience. And he is like the guru in the space about how to add to your business to get recurring income through a membership. But talk a little bit about how you came up. Of course, your passion's tea, so of course you were going to turn your passion into a membership. How did that come about?
I was listening to Amy Porterfield and to Stu again, and thinking about what the society would look like if someone was going to pay me every month. What kind of content would they like to get, and how could I keep all of that interesting for them,
Yep.
organized for them, and keep my sanity? Because I am a content creator. I love to create content for the members, but I didn't want to burn out. I had burnt
It's a
out
lot of work.
with it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah. So I really sat down and drafted up a plan and said, okay, what are the the 5 or 6 things that tea lovers, that we all have in common. We all love books about tea. We all love pretty pictures. We all love to set a pretty table. We all love making tea itself. And we all love serving all the good, cakes and scones and tea to other people. So those are the qualities I instilled in the society to share with other people.
I love that, and I totally think that that one of the things that is incredibly important that you talked about is that this whole concept of recurring income is something that that sometimes people think that, well, why should I be paying for something every single month? But we pay for so many things every single month, right? We pay for our garbage collection every single month. We pay for our newspaper deliveries every single month, and on the flip side, though, as you mentioned, when you have a monthly membership, you have to feed it every single month. And so you have such a nice balance of what sort of requires a lot of your time or a lot of additional planning or advanced planning on your part versus things that are easier to do. Talk just a little bit more about how did you figure out that balance?
How did I figure out that balance? I have a huge sticky note pad that's 3 feet by 4 feet, and it's on my wall, and it's 3 months in advance, and I have everything all planned out so that I can get in touch with the authors when I select a book, so that we can talk to the author. And when we select a tea for that month, so every month is a different theme. So we just celebrated our 6 month anniversary with the members. Yes.
Congratulations.
And thank you. Thank you. And so we've done lots of fun themes. We've done Bridgerton and Jane Austen and Louisa May Alcott. And last month was Ireland, travel to Ireland. And so we had a cookbook author who actually went to Ireland many, many times. And so she had collected some wonderful recipes. And so that was fun. And so the society is not about me. The society is about tea and the members. And so I want to collaborate as much as possible. It's not just my voice that I want the members to hear. And so that has helped me keep things under control and not burn out, and I think enjoy it more. I every month I say to myself, what am I going to do so that I enjoy my
Yeah.
business?
So smart to have that as one of your key goals, right? That is why you're
It
doing
is.
it. And also sustainability, right? Having that balance so it's sustainable.
Right, right. It
And I
makes
love
such
the
a
fact,
difference.
yeah, it makes such a difference. I love the fact that you plan 3 months ahead and have big, huge, giant calendars, right?
Oh
Those are,
yeah, and I use your calendar, your yearly calendar. That was brilliant. The minute you spoke about it in the atelier, I ordered it on Amazon. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do this. But I'm going to England at the beginning of May, and so my year kind of stopped. I, I know what I'm doing, but I haven't put up everything. So once I get back from England, then I'll start the next 6 months. But
yeah, and listen, you don't have to do the whole year. I mean, I did this
oh
whole
no, yeah,
what Kathleen's referring to for those of you who aren't in my monthly membership, which is called Anne's Atelier, and the word atelier means studio in French, and because of my French background. But I did a training on how to plan out your year and the different tools I use, and I have a year at a glance calendar that you can get at at Home Depot or Office Max or whatever, and but then we also have a monthly calendar that gives you a lot more room to use sticky notes and write and handwrite on it. So I love the fact that you're using those tools because I think it does really help us to have a handle on at least 3 months at a time or 6 months at a time.
yeah.
So talk to us a little bit more about about your trip. Talk to us about your trip because partially this is like a vacation trip, but partially it's a research trip too, isn't it?
It is. It's got a lot of I don't know, pockets to fill, my trip. Um, so of course I booked it in 2000 to go in 2019, and we had to keep
Pushing it out.
pushing it out, rescheduling it. So every time we did that, I said to my travel agent, "All right, we're going to add some time on then. Like once I get there,
Gotta stay a little longer.
I want to see everything, right? So now it went from 10 days to 24 days. So yeah, so I'm really
Oh,
excited.
that is
So
outstanding.
yeah, we're doing a big loop in England. We're going into Wales. We're spending some time in Scotland. So I haven't told the members yet. So if they're watching me right now, they get a sneak peek. So June, we're celebrating the Queen's Jubilee. And so our book club revolves around that. And so I'll be doing video clips, all around England, what village is doing what, doing different things. And I'm really excited. And then I'm going to Bath for the Jane Austen Center,
Oh,
um,
fantastic.
because we have Jane Austen's fifth great niece lined up to talk to us about when she lived in Chawton House. So it's just I'm bubbling with just like so much excitement and delightfulness about this trip. I can't even begin to tell you.
I am sure it's going to be outstanding. And so Karen is here, and I don't know if Karen is one of your fabulous members, but she says she loves everything that you've included for tea lovers: the book club, the tea room reviews, the tea tables, the tea growers and tea professionals interviews, and then also printables, author interviews,
Well,
right?
thank you, Karen. Yeah.
It's great, and she's coming out. She's joining us from YouTube too. So I'm super excited, Karen, that you found me over on YouTube. And Valerie, you are here as well from YouTube. I'm broadcasting now both to my Facebook page and to YouTube, which is something new for me. And so I can tell that whether you're here from Facebook or YouTube, because there's the little red icon for YouTube or the blue icon for Facebook. So I'm super, super excited to be able to have more of you actually find me on Wednesdays for these incredible interviews. Let's pop over to, I want to make sure people know how to follow you, and
Oh, thank you.
specifically, so we're going to go over to your Instagram account and also to set2at.com, because I want people to see. Now, is your membership open all the time, or do you follow sort of Stu's recommendation, which is that you only open it a couple times a year?
Well, I followed his recommendation. We did a founding members launch.
Yep.
So that was fun. It was a little scary because I had the outline, but I didn't have a lot of content in there. But I had faithful people who paid for the year up. And so that was fun. But then it's open right now all the time. But I have something special planned for our 1 year anniversary. So we'll be doing a special launch then, and opening again founding memberships and doing several different things.
Fantastic. That's super, super
Yeah.
exciting. So now let me go to set2at.com and hold on, I'm just organizing my screen here in the background so I can see what I'm doing. Set2at, oops. And as soon as I have it in the background, I will open it up. I'll share my screen, and here we go. It's so fabulous. I start to type it, and it pops right up. And okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go over to Set2at. So if you all want to start following Kathleen and get on her newsletter list, you can pop over to her website, which is Set2at. And this is her beautiful landing page. And this is what she mentioned. I'm going to zoom way into this adorable card. So this is the very first pattern that she made when she came into my Doodles mini course, and then also came into my 10-week program, the Pattern Design Academy. And I'm actually going to be doing Doodles again it's a totally revamped version though of Doodles. So if you've taken it in the past, you should come back and do the new version. It starts on May 9th.
And I'm excited because I can't wait to do it again, because you always
Yeah.
pick up something. Always pick up something.
Yeah, it's going to be super, super fun. And so I love the fact that you're still featuring this great design. And one of the things that's so fun about creating repeats is, and of course you also do all these incredibly beautiful illustrations and spot graphics. There's just so much you can do with the skills when you learn how to use Adobe Illustrator. It's just totally awesome. And
It's so freeing. It's so freeing to just explore all the different things you can do.
Yeah, exactly. So then here, right on your landing page, which is fantastic, you have more information about the membership, so people can click there to find out more. And then you have some beautiful featured products, right, where people can get your this. What is this a tea cozy as well? This is a tote.
That is a teacup tote, so you can travel with your teacup.
Yeah, so beautiful. Look at how
Thank
pretty
you.
this is. I absolutely love it. And she's also got some t-shirts and some notebooks and pillows and additional information. And then I'm going to pop over to Instagram. And what have you been posting about on Instagram recently? You're also set to a T.
Set to a T, and then we do have Set to a T Society on Instagram. I do less of my artwork on the Set to a T Society, and I focus more on the activities the members are doing. So, yeah,
Fun. So tell us,
yeah,
how do you
yeah.
do like a tea tasting on Zoom? Talk about how you do a tea tasting on Zoom. I want to hear about that.
Sure. So I offer a selected tea each month that goes with our theme. So this month, our theme is the Secret Garden. And we chose an herbal tea, a tisane, to steep with all of the attendees on Zoom. So they have a chance to purchase it beforehand, or, tea people are collectors. So if they have something in their tea closet that's similar, then by all means, steep that. But they can purchase the selected tea, and we all get on Zoom together and we talk about steeping times and where the tea leaves are coming from and who the provider is and all fun things.
That is fabulous. And is that usually like an hour or a little less, a little more? How do
It's
you?
it's usually about 45 minutes unless we get really gabby together and start talking about the book club and other things. But it's usually 45 minutes because I try to involve a tea sommelier or the tea grower themselves or different people that are involved in that tea that we selected.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, if anyone has questions, please pop them in the chat. So, Rogo has this wonderful one about, does tea expire?
Does tea expire? Um, First, you want to keep your tea in a darkish, cool place. So keeping it right above your tea kettle in the cabinet isn't really the best idea. But now with the packing materials they're using, the resealable barrier envelopes, pouches,
Yep.
those really keep tea airtight. So I would say um, you'll get a year, 2 years. But I'm going to tell you, why do you want to keep tea that long? You want
You
to
should be
drink it.
drinking it. You should be
You
drinking
should
it.
be
Yeah.
drinking it, right? It's like a bottle of wine. You open it up, you want to drink it. You don't want it to expire.
Yeah. So have
So,
you done
so
any? You mentioned this wonderful comparison between tea and how different tea flavors are to wine and how wine tasting is, wine has all kinds of different flavors. Have you ever done like a tea tasting where you've had a variety of different teas lined up for people to try?
we have our Downton Abbey month. We did a flight of Earl Grey teas in honor of Lord Grantham for our tea tasting. So we had three different Earl Greys, um, and they each were, one had vanilla, one had a different note, a larger lemon note to it. So they were all three different. So we compared those. So that was a lot of fun.
That is fantastic. So Annie Starkey wants to know, tea bags or loose leaf?
Well, if I had more time, I'd tell you. Uh, Next time you have a tea bag in your hand, rip it open and drop it onto a plate, all the little tea leaves. All right. So you'll notice how tiny those particles of tea are. And at the auction house, the tea people call that tea dust in fannings. So that's the leftover tea after the loose leaf tea, the better quality graded tea is sold. So loose leaf tea is going to give you a better grade, It's like going from a prosecco to a champagne. There's a
Right.
difference.
Yep. There's these
There's levels,
gradations.
and
Yes.
so grocery store tea, and then there's in between tea, and then there's loose leaf tea, and not all loose leaf tea is equal, right? There's really good loose leaf tea, and then there's broken leaves. So the important thing is to know where your tea is coming from. Where you're buying it from a company, you should be able to ask them, where is this tea from?
Perfect. Perfect. So Sochi said, I love reading the Tea Shop Mysteries by Laura Childs. I usually fantasize about owning a tea shop. I love that. That is
Yes, well,
outstanding.
Theodosia, the tea owner in that series, she has a marvelous shop, and I don't know how she keeps the doors open and pays all her staff because, uh, I don't know anybody that's making $1 million in tea like Theodosia does.
Yeah, yeah. So listen, we've been on for a half an hour, and Facebook always recommends that you only stay on for 18 minutes. So we've gone a little long, but that's okay. This conversation's been fantastic. But I've always liked to be very cognizant of how busy everyone is who's either here with us live or who's watching the replay. So I so appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And
Yes.
and before we do go, if you have any final questions, pop them into the chat. And then actually tell us, I guess the one last question that I would have for you is that when you came into sort of my world and started to learn more about Adobe Illustrator, and what was like the most compelling reason for you to come into my universe, so that as I start to talk to people about joining Doodles in May, what would you want them to know from your perspective about what convinced you to become more serious about joining my programs?
I would say to anybody thinking about it, uh, no matter what you're doing in life, you need a mentor. Whether you're learning how to cook, whether you're learning how to drive, if you're learning bookkeeping for your business, you need somebody to show you the ropes, guide you, and they can often keep you from making the mistakes because they're showing you the way, they're guiding you the way. So I fell in love with Anne's teaching style in Doodles, and that convinced me to progress further, take a deep dive into learning Illustrator because you're so thorough. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed your style of teaching online. It's hard to find somebody who speaks the same language that you can learn from, and you do. So it was wonderful.
Yeah,
So I
well,
would
listen,
say, yeah.
thank you so much. I feel so incredibly blessed to find people like you and that you find me, because obviously we find each other. And I get so incredibly inspired and motivated by people like you who join my community and are doing such fascinating things. So how can we best support you? What would you like people who are watching either here live or are going to watch the replay, what would you like them to do to join your community or learn more about tea and your passion around tea?
I would love for people to hop on to Set to a Tea Society, and click on that, join our Facebook group, join the free book club. Um, next month we have a great book picked out, and the month after that, it's all revolves around tea and how much people enjoy tea. So that would really be fun for us to have more book club members, because the other members love hearing different perspectives. Like in anything in life, you
Right.
love hearing someone else's perspective on things. So that would be fabulous. And just, if tea isn't your thing, somebody who loves tea.
Right.
And if you could pass that information to them, I would be so grateful.
Yes, so tell all your friends to check out settoat.com and to follow Kathleen also on Instagram at set2at, and also what is it called? Tea Society or Set to a Tea Society?
Set to a Tea Society.
Set to a
Yes.
Tea Society. I don't think I'm following that handle, so I have to go follow it myself. So you're getting all these fabulous comments from people who are watching, like Kitty, who's saying fabulous. Kitty, it's so lovely to see you. So I will
Thank
be
you, Kitty.
back again. I'll be back again next Wednesday, of course, come rain or shine, unless I'm on an airplane. I'm here at noon. We're going to actually have someone on who is Shirley Casey, who's here right now. She's going to be on with us next week. She's in the UK. And then when you're over in the UK, you should do a meetup, because Shirley's in the UK and Sue Higgins is in the UK. And of course, Pauline Riley is in Wales, so depending on where you're going in Wales, Pauline might be able to drive to see you. You should absolutely do an in-person meetup while you're over there.
Yes, that would be fun.
So thank you so much for joining me. You and I will stay on when I hit the finish button, but I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette, and it's never too late to create. So join us again for another fun interview next Wednesday. Thank you again, Kathleen, and bye for now.
Thank you, Anne.